U.S. Army is in the process of upgrading its Bradley fighting vehicles to give them the power necessary to run new network communications and other systems, as well as make sure they remain just as capable despite the growing weight thanks to new equipment and other upgraded gear. At the same time, the service is already looking at new proposals for even more dramatic changes to the fleet, including a larger hull, new weapons, and additional sensors. Shephard got the scoop on the Army's plans and detailed the various configurations they are considering for a notional M2A5 Bradley infantry fighting vehicle on January 29, 2018. The goal is to have a first unit equipped with the revised armored vehicles by the beginning of 2026. At present, the service already has approximately $600 million with which to fund both development and the initial purchases of the upgrade components, but this could increase as the Pentagon looks to significantly grow its budgets across the board in the 2019 fiscal cycle. The Army has already spent tens of millions of dollars working with the Bradley's present manufacturer, Buy Systems, on a pair of sequential improvements, known as Engineering Change Proposals, or ECPs, since 2012. The service will designate vehicles that receive those modifications as the M2A4. The M2A5 appears to take the place of previous plans for a third ECP package. The expanded hull would reportedly keep the weight of the chassis under 40 tons. However, this would still be significantly heavier than a standard M2A3 Bradley, which tips the scales at around 33 tons, including its turret. The Army has already begun to mitigate this issue somewhat through the earlier ECP program, though. The first of those design changes includes track, suspension, and transmission upgrades already necessary to make sure existing Bradleys didn't lose mobility or become significantly more maintenance-intensive under the weight of a host of other more minor upgrades. Those included explosive reactive armor suites, devices to jam and otherwise counter improvised explosive devices, and other self-protection and defensive measures, together known as the Bradley Urban Survival Kit, or BUSK. The driving force behind those additions had been experiences learned during the U.S.-led occupation of Iraq between 2003 and 2008, when American troops routinely patrolled urban areas where insurgents and terrorists would often use the environment to their advantage to engage armored vehicles with anti-tank weapons at close range or hide roadside bombs. The Army may ultimately decide to pursue both courses of action in sequence or simultaneously, providing it has secured the funds to do so. There is otherwise the potential for new weapons and other equipment to end up on the Army's wish list for the Bradleys on top of the existing proposals as time goes on, much as has been the case with the ECP program and subsequent plans for the M2A5 already. It is possible that the A4 or A5 upgrades could make their way onto other Bradley variants beyond the M2, as well. The Army already plans to adopt an M7A4 Bradley Fire Support Team Vehicle, or BFIST, a type of vehicle the Army has specifically configured to provide armored transport for individuals spotting for friendly artillery and other fire support missions. The updates, especially the added power generation, could be especially useful for a future short-range air defense, SHORAD, version, which the service is also considering as a successor to the now-retired M6 Linebacker anti-aircraft variant. The future of the Bradley might not be guaranteed then either. In 2017, the Army gave a $237 million contract to a team with defense contractor SAIC in the lead to develop two prototype designs for a possible next-generation combat vehicle, NGCV, which is still very much in the conceptual stage, as a possibly Bradley replacement. On January 29, 2018, Secretary of the Army Mark Esper said that he would be willing to consider existing foreign armored vehicles for such a program, as well. Many of our NATO allies have very capable tanks, Esper told reporters during a press conference at the Army's top headquarters in Europe, situated in Wiesbaden, Germany, according to Defense News. As I think about a next-generation combat vehicle, we should look at our allies, and look at their designs, and look at how they've built combat vehicles and combat systems, and think about adopting some of those. In the meantime, though, the service is very seriously considering just how much more capability it can squeeze out of its existing Bradleys.
Hey, so I'm just going to walk and talk through the concept with you. this.